I just called Dave McCormick to congratulate him on his election to represent Pennsylvania in the United States Senate. As the first count of ballots is completed, Pennsylvanians can move forward with the knowledge that their voices were heard, whether their vote was the first to be counted or the last.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. That's the Pennsylvania Democrat Senator Bob Casey, or I should say former senator, finally conceding his race to the Republican Dave McCormick. As many of you know, we've been focusing on it in a number of our videos. We've been keeping a very close eye on it, but the Bucks County Election Board tried to get away with counting illegal ballots in the recount, and Scott Pressler is now organizing an all-out effort to unseat every single Democrat on that corrupt board in the next election there. But as things stand, we now officially have 53 Republican senators as of that official concession. And it's only getting worse, gang. That is, if demographics is destiny. Now, we've talked about this a number of times. This is the latest from Chronicles Magazine. Very good article. More and more analysts are recognizing that the Electoral College map is an absolute disaster for the Democrats going forward. And that's because blue states are shedding population and will have less representation in Congress and fewer votes in the Electoral College after the next census. And that next census may actually be brought forward into time and be done within the next year or two, precisely because of how badly it was screwed up in 2020, undercounting red states and overcounting the population of blue states. A number of studies, most particularly from the Brennan Center for Justice and the American Redistricting Project, crunched the numbers and have come to conclusions that will come to an absolute shock if you're a Democrat. Get this, states that voted for Kamala Harris this year are set to lose 12 seats in the House of Representatives and an equal number of presidential electors. And this will be official as of 2030, according to both groups' extrapolations from the Census Bureau data. California is on track to lose 4 congressmen and electoral votes. New York will lose 3. Illinois will lose 2, while Oregon, Minnesota, and Rhode Island will each be going down 1. Solidly Republican, deep red states are going to get most of the gains, with Texas picking up 4 congressional seats and electoral votes, Florida acquiring 3, and Idaho, Utah, and Tennessee each adding 1.
Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, thank you, Donald, congratulations.
Thank you.
And looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome back.
Gang, what you just saw there was both the president and the vice president eerily congratulating Trump and promising a peaceful transition of power. Well, that's something I'd like to believe, but it's hard to believe those words when they're coming from the mouths of pure serial liars. I mean, career liars. So what does that mean for the next few months? The opposite of what they're promising. So absolute chaos, economically, culturally, politically. We might be in for war for all we know. So what should you do? You should at least own some gold. The markets might be up right now, but who knows what's going to happen between now and January. You need to protect yourself against the last hurrah of the worst administration America has ever had. We know it's coming. I don't know what, but something is between now and January 20th. You might think they're just going to hand over a pristine, happy, functioning country to the man they tried to assassinate and put in jail, entirely ruin. No, something's coming, and you need to be financially prepared for it. You need to talk to Goldco. and protect yourself against this last battle. Get some gold in your portfolio. In the coming months, you'll be glad that you did. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code and just chat with them. You'll be glad that you did. So what does all of that mean? Well, in an era when control of Congress depends on razor-thin and sometimes single-digit margins, the net loss of 12 seats from reliably Democratic states and the comparable gain of Republican states will give the GOP an edge in the House in all elections for the foreseeable future. And at the presidential level, the effect would be like flipping a mid-sized deep blue state to the GOP. The 12 electoral college votes, what the Democrat states are losing, would equal something like flipping Washington State. Imagine if Washington State went full MAGA red, for example. To drive this point home with the new census map, Trump would be winning today with something akin to 320 to 324 electoral votes. The news is so good that we may be looking at an electoral college situation where a Republican could lose all 3 blue wall states and still easily win the electoral college. And that's not mentioning the fact that the blue wall states are all turning red as we speak. So what's the big takeaway from all this? The big takeaway, gang, is that no matter what is going on minute by minute, second by second at the micro level inside the DC swamp, I want you to keep in mind, always keep in mind the big picture. Trump is effectively shattering the Democrat Party. He has pivoted left on economics, which is causing a major political realignment not seen since the days of FDR among the white and non-white working class. And he's pivoted right on culture, which is splitting what remains of the left, all the while uniting the right. And this is causing not only the Democrat Party to fracture, but the entire Democrat media infrastructure is beginning to crater as well, as we are seeing most explicitly in the implosion of MSNBC. That is what is really happening right now before the world's eyes, if you but have the eyes to see it. And if that's the case, I see all of this as precursor to what Trump is going to do with the deep state, regardless of who he picks for what position. That's, to me, in many respects, irrelevant. The dismantling of the Democrats is just the precursor to Trump ultimately dismantling and draining the swamp. So make sure to go out there and buy some of that, $7 butter that Joe Scarborough was so surprised about the day after the election, because you're going to need it for all the buckets of popcorn you're going to be eating, watching the Democrats' complete and total collapse.